Yeah, like you said, tried and true. You can't really go wrong with the Snap Void. Even though Snapfire has honestly not been getting picked very often. I think it's just because we are in kind of that creep meta where you do have very obnoxious heroes. And that is the first Kunkka of the tournament. A hero that we haven't really gotten to talk about a lot, but when it comes to Faceless Void, of course, every single chrono, you throw the boat in, you don't die. And that's also the first Venge of the tournament. And Venge is one of the dumbest heroes in all of Dota. If you can survive the lane, if you can get out of that early stage where the hero does feel weak, the Ags is incredible. The Ag Shard is insane. The level 15, the level 20 talent, the hero just has so many different power spikes that are not bound to net worth in the slightest. It is all about XP. It is all about just keeping that team fight going. The hero is honestly disgusting. And there you go, more damage reduction for your Chronosphere.
Is a hero that is just so exceptionally hard to just get out of your way. She's just always there when she picks up those items. As 5RAT will go in for the Pango pick, which with the Faces Void, maybe not the most synergistic combo in the world. They're going to have to sort of time out their ults, but that does give them some more control, some damage potential. Of course, hero that Ravens might still have the means to sort of mess with, because they do have some spells that'll hit them even in that rolling thunder.
Yeah, and that's where you do have to be careful. You do have that startup time of the rolls, so you get vision of him, you swap him in. Hero can die pretty quick, and then you do not get roll off. But that's where I think the reason they go for it is because in that same position, of course, we are talking about the Mars. You don't want to pick Mars into Kunkka, even though it looks like a great pick for them in every other avenue. It's just where simply if you do dump all your damage, they just get swapped out. It's too easy. You want a more chaotic hero like Pango will cause, but now you are separating your offlaner from both your Snapfire and your Faceless Void. It's where now the Pango is kind of going to be off doing his own thing. Again, making space, which is what 5RAT needed, but it's going to make their lineup feel a little bit less connected. And Necroban, that's interesting. This is actually something that Ravens has been going for pretty much in all of their drafts. It feels like coming to that last phase, it's something that Nengo Flow might just hate playing against. Of course, the last Necro that got picked up in this tournament was unfortunately just immediately countered by a Shadow Fiend, and then it was, I think, Kits as well, just immediately bopped him. It was probably the most decisive game of the tournament so far. But that's also where Kunkka mid makes sense. Don't pick him into a losing matchup if this is just going to be Nengo Flow Kunkka.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I suppose there is still the option for that Kunkka to be moved around a little bit if they want to try and maybe play it at the one, but it does seem like that would be Nyengo Flow's hero, just in terms of it gives him a little bit of control in the lane, and it does give him that sort of ganking and maneuverability potential that we see from him a lot as well.
Yeah, and now for 5RAT, I think the NP ban is pretty interesting here. Just something that
Mhm.
would barrel down your towers when your Faceless Void doesn't have Chrono, but at the same time, it's a risky pick. It's something that always dies to Chronosphere. That's where if Ravens really want to, you look at heroes like the Morphling and you say, well, Morph is still in the pool. Morph is still the answer to Faceless Void Chrono. Morph still doesn't die in Chrono. Once you get the Ag Sharp, you're completely fine. Another hero, don't know if they want it necessarily versus Faceless Void, but last time we saw the Pango picked up, we saw the immediate ban of the Slark, which is 100% an option they could go for. Versus Snapfire, I think that's a little bit tough just because, of course, Snapfire gets the damage through regardless of whether or not you're in your Depth Shroud or your Dark Shroud, but at the same time, feels like a pretty good hero. But no, Magnus, they switch up everything.
Okay, we'll see who picks what now, but that
Yeah.
definitely not what I was expecting. Of course, now all of a sudden you kind of turn the nature of this matchup on its head a little bit. We were talking about 5RAT being the squad, so sort of looking for that big team fight, but if there's an RP on the other side, 5RAT aren't really going to be able to group up and advance as a unit in the way that they may have been or might have been banking on previously.
Yeah, and now, well, that was a fast pick. They didn't have a lot of
Oh,
time. Interesting. They
hmm.
swap up pretty much everything here. And now, what are your cores? It's just going to be an offlane alchemist. Okay.
Yeah.
Very, very different. I mean, sure. That's a lot of anti-armor in that lane. I mean, you've got Little Shredder, you've got Acid Spray. It could be pretty obnoxious for Dad, but yeah, that is kind of out of left field here. And honestly, with Ravens not picking up that ultra carry to go versus the Faceless Void, I just got a whole bunch more confidence for 5RAT. I mean, they've got the Void. They've got the team that if this does go late enough, we're fine. The only thing he's got to worry about, of course, is Dismar just finding him with the Doom and blowing open a team fight just right away. But I don't know. The Alchemist is definitely a little bit of a question mark for me. I feel like he's gonna have to get to a pretty good start here and never lose it. It's one of those heroes that once you fall behind, I just don't know where you go next. And of course, with Alchemist, you are the multi-tool, right? You could go Blink Dagger, you could go Lotus Orb, you can go any item basically in Dota. I don't know if he's gonna be rushing in Ags, but seeing how he plays for his own game is gonna be pretty interesting. But why Alk? I bet there's a game loop video about it, but I just need to understand this a little bit more.
uh, we fit in that seamless and shameless plug, not a big deal, but yeah, I don't know. The number one thing for Speed here, no matter what his choice is, ET, we still need to see him involved constantly, right? He can't get too greedy on this Alchemist because DNM on the Void is going to need that space and that time. So something that keeps him involved in these fights really in any way possible is going to have to be the play. And honestly, that's when 5RAT has looked at their best. When Speed is on a hero that can sort of be the team fight anchor for them rather than just a straight up initiator. He needs to have longevity in these fights.
Yeah, and as funny as it is, Speed also just likes the farm. It's where, he plays Death Prophet, he plays Nature's Prophet. He likes being a prophet, and the Alchemist is a prophet of at least a little bit of farm. And it's where we'll have to see, because of course, you are running what feels a little bit like a Tricore on the 5-Rat Force-Staff side of things. If things do start to slow down a lot, they're gonna be happy farming, but that's where, unfortunately, for kits, depending on how greedy you play your Pango, you could be under a little bit more pressure here if things don't go your way, or if your rotations don't work out, you just lose farm on the map because you simply have an alchemist farming your free lane. So we'll have to see how they find that balance.
First game of the day getting underway here. Bit of a smoke play from Ravens, but smoke for speed, not for aggression at this point. As you see, Dismar didn't even bother buying any other items. He took his wards and he is booking it across the river, and looks like he is going to win that foot race. Gets a nice ward down, although 5RAT didn't really care to contest it. They put their own ward pretty deep in their jungle, ET, just trying to kind of add some protection for these camps.
Yeah, and I think that is set up to block the medium camp, just make it a little bit more difficult for Dismar to get what he ideally would want, which is probably just any creep that has the mana buff, because, of course, he's got a Visage, you get the mana aura, very obnoxious, very difficult to deal with, pretty much the only thing you're looking for at those early levels, but that's where we'll have to see, because there is a lot of info that they should be able to get with this high ground ward. Usually it's pretty easy to tell when that high ground is warded, but at the same time, you never know. Even though we are going to see a pretty big clash here, I think, over on bottom.
Kara's angling like he's trying to contest, but once he sees all three heroes, I don't know if he really wants to be here. And yeah, they try to play a game of chicken, but eventually the Venge does have to back away. So 5RAT get two, and the last one on their side as well. So should start off with a slight advantage as Dismar got a little bit bullied there in the river, but he's got 6 tangos, well, 5 now that he's eaten one, but the fact remains he knew what was up. He comes back to lane, and he should be just fine.
Yeah, and we'll have to see, I think, in this top lane, how successfully you can shut down Benjaz. It just feels like every single lane, he gets away with it. He does so much damage with the Soul Assumption. Dismar rotates out. Benjaz gets his level 6 5 minutes into the game, and then he never looks back.
Dismar's just going to charge his way forward, be obnoxious, of course. Well, Albino Zebra on the other side should be, yeah, setting up to do pretty much the exact same thing, although he does have to be careful. He was able to avoid sort of clipping the creep wave that time around, so that is always the main concern with the Jakiro, right? It's not the most precision spell in the world, and I don't really want to push too far in here, but he's doing his best at the moment, getting DNM some farm, and not getting into too much trouble in the process.
Yeah, the only thing you do have to be careful of, though, of course, you clip the wave with a dual breath, it pushes forward, and the fact that Raven's lane does not really care about the attack slow. When it comes to their abilities, you just see that bar tick up to 3, and then suddenly your damage goes through anyway, where the dual breath isn't really an answer to the Doom Visage lane, unfortunately.
What a very fair setup here for AB1. He takes all that time, aims the dual breath, hits it perfectly, and then Benjaz just turns around and says, yeah, that's cute, I've got Soul Assumption, so I win. But it's a hard knock life. You signed up to be a position 5 support. This is the way you gotta live. But down bot, Will be a bit of an interesting one. We do have the point up in the skewer. He already used it once, though, so they can't get it here, but they do have the pullback into the stun. They just don't have the damage to really finish this off, and at this point, Dodd? Really? Okay, he's gonna skewer, but it's level 1. The damage really isn't significant. Merlin, though, is still going to get taken down. The question is, can Speed follow it up? No, he can't. Missile in from Kara. And, well, you know, who says being greedy doesn't pay off? Dodd very nearly dies. Probably should have as well, ET, but he gets away with it.
No, he gets away, and of course, got to be careful about when that Snapfire returns to the lane. Don't just want to die now. I think he's got a salve and boots flying out on Courier, but he's going to regen up pretty nicely underneath the tower with the Tango, with the added regen, and the Flag Bearer. Kind of just ends up getting a reset.
He's already up to nearly half his HP by the time Merlin even returns to the lane, so fair enough. I guess, you know, it did seem a little bit greedy, but like you said, when you have all this extra regen now in the game to sort of back it up, the consequences aren't quite as significant going after that play. The question is, though, can they ever really try that on to Speed? Merlin, at this moment, looks like the easier target. I don't know if they could pull out the same combo on the Alk unless maybe they get a skewer back under tower.
Oh, and I'm also watching mid where Kits is just getting bullied. Almost got just straight up solo killed there. Nengafo almost got the recleave with the Tidebringer onto him, but instead Kits walks away, limps away at I think like 15 HP, something like that. Not pretty stuff. Does get the bounty rune though, but honestly, this was one of the concerns I had with them switching up their draft and putting Speed on this Alchemist. Forcing Kits into the Pango versus Kunkka matchup, it's not very fun. And once Nengafo hits level 5, you just can't really survive here. It's that unfortunate circumstance where Kunkka just doesn't need to use mana for the harass, where Kits is constantly playing that losing battle where he needs bottle refills. If he doesn't get it, he just kind of starts losing.
Oh,
You know, top. Yeah.
Ismar does get taken down. It's a nice soul assumption from Benjaz, but it's not quite timed up correctly, as DNM was just able to time walk it away. So 5RAT do get their first kill of the game, but back to what you were sort of mentioning there, for Yengo Flow, you take a look at him. I mean, he's got the double bracer up already, ET. This isn't killable. Kits would need at least his ult at this point, so this lane's kind of already... Maybe lost is too harsh of a word, but Yengo Flow has what he wants out of it.
Oh, and Kits has got to be careful here.
There's the X. Torrent to follow. Meanwhile, Merlin gets taken down in the bottom lane, but we're going to keep it mid because Kits is in some serious trouble. He is out of spells. Yengo Flow... I'm not entirely sure he knew that he was out of spells. Could have chased it a little bit further, but... Well, at this point, he really doesn't have to. He still has that control, while Ravens did find that second kill down bot.
Oh, he's just doing such a good job. Not the most appropriate Tidebringer, but he's doing a fantastic job of just making the angle happen where he's not clipping his ranged creep. With level 3 Tidebringer, you would just set it into an instant deny, but dodging the ranged creep while still hitting the enemy Pangos, pretty sick stuff, and that forces Kits all the way back home.
The walk of shame here for the mid laner. All the way back, and part of me was thinking, you know, maybe he tries to TP to a different lane, but he still isn't 6. Without the Rolling Thunder, it would be a tough play to make. He could still try, but no. He's just going to TP his way back mid instead, so not too many options in the early stages here for 5RAT. That's a nice bit of damage onto the Kunkka, though, so you know, there's some sort of positive for him, as down in the bottom lane. Speed goes for the stun, but that's a defensive stun, if anything, as he was already sort of fading away.
Yeah, that's good underneath tower, and he can stay on this.
Shockwave's in, skewers up in 6. He's not going to chase for it, though, so... Trying to play it safe. There's a full creep wave and a siege creep there that he was going to have to run through, so maybe that would have been a little bit too risky. Speaking of potentially risky, though, AB1 a little bit too far forward in the top lane. Dismar punishes him. Takes a couple of bashes from TNM for his trouble, but he is able to walk away, and... well... this is the power of this lane, right? Benjaz might not be getting the kills, or for that matter, even the assists. He's only got the 1, but the NM's not exactly dominating this situation either.
Yeah, in typical fashion, the Visage does suffer when it comes to the last hits. Your base damage is just so weak, but that's also where after 4 long minutes, Dismar finally got the exact creep he wanted. You have the mana aura, you have pretty much endless soul assumptions to give. Dismar's been taking more XP than he has in the past games they've run this lane, as well. That's Kit scouted. What an unfortunate sentry timing. Because now they know, and now this is so much time wasted for the Pango.
Yep. That is unfortunate, but the Spidey senses were tingling there for Dismar. And, I mean, the number one thing there, right? He sets down the sentry, he sees Kits, doesn't panic, doesn't really have anything to panic with, so that probably helped, but just walks away, doesn't give away that they know, and as you said, time wasted. Time that the Kunkka is very much taking advantage of. Yengo Flow, top of the net worth, a couple hundred ahead of the Faceless Void, but that's a gap that I don't think is going to close anytime soon.
Yeah, and that's also where he can just push the waves out. And Merlin, ooh, yeah, he kind of dancing in between the cores right now, but eventually you're gonna run into somebody, and I feel like he should just get taken down here. There's no cookie, and Gofo even just wants the freebie.
Dodd says, no, 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 no. That's mine. You can go back to mid. So, cleans it up with the Shockwave, gets himself a kill. 3-0 now for the Magnus here as well. So, this was a little bit of a concern. As you were saying, looking at this, Position 1 Mag is not exactly the same scaling type hero as a Faceless Void, but if Dodd's picking up farm and 3 kills in the early stages, then you're going to hit that timing window where you are ready to go with something like a Blink RP well before the Faceless Void is in a position to counter.
Yeah, it's where very simply you just, with the max and power, farm much faster than a guy that's probably going to go for Midas, and then you can make those plays in between. Not to mention, you also just do a really good job of playing with the Kunkka, just having another spell, more lockdown to dump down. And that's really what they go for with this Magnus. They just have another stun to play with, knowing that their offlaner is a Visage. Because Visage, as great of a hero as he is with the birds, just having a blink stun is something that we've seen a lot of teams turn their drafts around for. Just makes their lineups that much easier to play. And the pressure isn't even all that much on him, because you do have that swap. You've got a lot of counterplay, and if you are too far forward on some of these 5-rat heroes, you just get kidnapped, you get taken away, you get skewered, and then you just kind of die.
And as you were saying for DNM, we're checking in on it. It's the Midas he's queued up first, so making another chance to see everyone's favorite item build, the Midas into the potential Maelstrom build. It's just so exciting and dynamic, ET. Just gotta love it.
Yeah, it's kind of inevitable at this point.
RP? On to
Yeah.
Kits, okay. Well, I can understand why he was down there, but they figure out that he's alone, and it's just too much lockdown. And this Pango, all of a sudden, and that's only his first death, ET, but you take a look at where his net worth is sitting. This was the move to correct what had gone wrong mid, and he gets picked off, so now he's set even further back.
Yeah, and really, they're doing it to be nice, and now looking at Merlin. They give the Snapfire that lane, and that's why they moved the Pango down towards bottom, was to try and get those kisses online just a little bit sooner, and then give the tome over to the Jakiro, but instead, you get picked off in both lanes, and now you've got this problem where do we go next? They don't want to spend their TPs here, otherwise they could just be locked into another set of feeds, but this is where you start feeling really cramped on the map, and Ravens are just going to start taking up more of this territory. After this mid tower goes down, I mean, 10-minute mid tower, not even any hits from the cart. Now they're just going to move top and bully everyone out of there. And of course, when the Faceless Void loses his lane, you're going to start seeing him stepping on top of Speed's toads, and Speed is going for a Radiance right now.
Oh,
5-Rat seem a little bit out of their depth, right?
you know, it's good to have dreams, ET. It's always nice to have ambitions, right? Can't fault him for that, but at a certain point, realistic expectations maybe need to step in. I don't think he's getting that Radiance nearly as quickly as he needs to, unless he's just going to steal farm. Although DNM right now, less concerned with farm, more concerned with potentially staying alive. They sort of sense this maneuver coming. They do have a nice trio of heroes in here, though, and DNM, Chrono's available, so maybe they could try to get sneaky. The problem is, over on the other side, yeah, Kits. Yikes. Dismar, did he doom? Yes, he did. So, no way out for the Pangolier. Tier 1 tower now under attack down bot, and that is free. Well, I was going to say free and clear to initiate top. The initiation's not very clean, though. Benjaz did throw down those familiars, but he was too separate from them. DNM just sort of tracked him down, didn't have to pop his chrono, and it's really the first sort of mistake I think we've seen from Raven so far in this game.
Yeah, Benjas just gets caught a little bit too far forward. I think also not exactly knowing where the Snapfire was playing, even though I feel like a part of you knows that he's going to try and be connected with the Faceless Void, but that's also pretty nice in saving the Chrono. Of course, Kisses is a lot lower of a cooldown than that level 1 Chronosphere is. Probably like a 40-second difference in what the Midas delivered. if Ravens can't cleanly get onto this tower, they might have to just stall things up for this Blink Dagger to be finished on Dad. And of course, it will be finished in like one creep camp, but you are going to have to now stick the Magnus up in that top lane. And then DNM has a pretty easy choice. He could just leave, and then that's a pretty nice concession. If you start to move more heroes than you can really afford to on the Ravens side, that's where the greed starts to work out for the Alk and the Void.
They have a potential window. We'll see if it even plays out that way. The Mag is still kind of playing it a little bit more economically focused here, still farming in the jungle, so we'll have to wait and see if he actually makes that move top at this point, as they are going to smoke. Just a two-man, Dodd and Dismar, but we've seen what they can do together. Of course, the last time they found a kill, they had the Doom available, which now they don't. So does that change their thinking at all? As of right now, it seems like no, because the Mag is still making it up. The fight, though, yep, already broken out. They're going to drop the Chrono down onto Niengo Flow. He is so damn tanky, though. They really don't take him out. That's an awkward swap. Still leaves him right in the middle of the fight, but it sets up for the RP into the Ghost Ship, connecting onto all of them. DNM taken down already. Merlin gone as well. Kids, he's trying to roll his way through. He wants Niengo Flow so damn bad, but they aren't able to finish that kill. And now Kits, he may have just suicided for this, and he's not even going to get it. Oh, and then the skewer. AB1 pulled out from under his tower. He'll get Kara, but no offense to Kara, but who cares? That's a team fight win, clear as day. And they just sort of bait that one in.
Yeah, they just weren't ready for that Mag Blink to come through. But then you also get to see why Ravens drafted in the way they did. The swap comes through, the boat comes through. I mean, now your Kunkka has a BKB, so Niengo Flow is not dying for so many more stages of this game, but he just doesn't die in the onset there. And then because you have that Pangolier, it's a core that can't do anything in the Chronosphere. You have to go for the perfect chain stun after. And because you have to play like that, you survive the Chrono. You get your spells off regardless. It's why this Avenge is so obnoxious to play against. And then, yeah, the setup, just the fast timings from that Magnus. It's not fun. Not to mention, that's a Blink Dagger also coming out on your Doom. So you've got another play on Raven's side. They don't need to let pressure up in the slightest. If you're not careful, again, you could just get taken down in these side lanes, and then you look over at Speed, and he's got his Radiance. That was all time that he spent farming, but we need to see a lot from this Alchemist once he decides to show up to these team fights.
I do have to eat my words there, because I was saying he's probably not going to get that Radiance anytime soon, so apologies. No disrespect, Speed. But how much does this matter? How much of a game changer is the Radiance right now? Because Speed, even with the Radiance, you still have to fight. I don't think he's capable of going in without the Chemical Rage, and he's not capable of going in without teammates to back him up either.
And you got to be careful now. It's another smoke up. Of course, it's just the Blink reveal on that Doom. They want to find a core in the triangle, which is a little bit mistimed, but this is a smoke into nighttime, which will make the likelihood of this smoke working out a little bit higher. Get to block those Ancients as well, but that's where typically what happens with Ravens mid-game. As soon as that Wraith Pact is finished up on that Visage, they like to force Rosh instead. They don't like going for these tier 2s too early. They're a team that's really been, I think, the most patient out of anybody in the tournament, but that's where they're going to take all of this territory. They've got a lot of control, but the smoke will peter out.
Nobody takes the bait. Does give them control of this high ground, though, so there's a nice benefit for them. 5RAT just kind of confined into a smaller area here, but they've got smokes of their own. There it is. Full 5-man. Question is, where do they think they should go? If they push into the west side triangle, you can hit up Benjaz maybe, but I think they might want a bigger fight than that, and it might be coming their way. Niengo Flow just charges into mid. He's going to spot Speed, hits him with the X. There's going to be the boat to come out. Dismar, look at him, waiting, watching. Where's my target? Where's the Doom? DNM trying to jump in. He wants to hold the Chrono for as long as he can. Both sides just trying to wait and hold their fires. Dismar does finally blink in, but there's the Chrono. It's going to get dropped. Speed now with the Unstable Concoction to throw in. The Mortimer Kiss is on top of it. They take down one. They'll take down two. And Ravens, it is time to leave, but they're not making it out. Kara will fall. Benjaz trying to buy time with those familiars. Kits, I think he just whiffed on the swashbuckle. That's a little awkward, but they still have the cookie that pushes them forward. Bash in from DNM in a timely fashion, and Kits cleans up with the triple. Might get the familiars here as well. Eh, not quite. He's going to fly him away. But if you're 5RAT, ET, that's the fight they've been waiting for all game long.
Yeah, and very oddly from Ravens, as Dodd is still hunting here.
Oh, only onto one, but they should find the kill. Oh, wait, hold up. Okay, the Ice Path actually does connect even through the skewer, so Kit's maybe... No. Never mind, no maybe about it. Kara comes in and shuts that down, so... Well, they find a kill, but they lose the fight, they lose their tower, and they've just about lost the net worth lead here as well.
Yeah, and all of that, I think, really is just off of how that smoke ended up breaking. They really thought that AB1 was a lot more alone than he was, and of course, they start that fight onto speed, but you use the boat early. He got the chrono after BKB, after the roam was already ticked out, and during that entire team fight as well, Kits just was chasing the Venge, making sure that there was no swap possible, making sure that any spell that was going to land was gonna hit, and kind of just works out fabulously for them. And of course, with the lineup that is much greedier, you start to win one or two team fights when you're supposed to win. You get this nice farming time, a minute, minute and a half, where your opponents can't really contest you. And I think that's also where the immediate smoke up just to use the Doom. I think if Dismar finds the Doom onto DNM in that team fight, then everything goes sideways for them. But he even got a little bit scared in the nighttime. He wasn't able to find that very clean jump. And without a Centaur creep as well, it is very difficult to Doom some of these heroes. It's where you very easily just get Ice Path. He gets the time lapse off. He gets the swash away. It's where you do need a Centaur to kind of play this hero now.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the play, right? Extreme amounts of patience from both Dismar and DNM, and the Doom blinked in. He was trying to get the Doom off, but DNM was able to time walk away, turned around in the trees, and then popped the chrono, and as you said, that was everything. And I think the major difference between that chrono and the one we saw up top 5 minutes ago, this time around, the snap actually got to ult on top of it. That fight top, it just did not happen. Wasn't in a position to really put that combo together, so it's still it's a very fearsome combo, right? We talked about it in the draft. It is incredibly hard to deal with, and 5RAT hadn't been able to put it together. Now they did once. Can they do it again?
Yeah, and that's where it's their free play. Every 90 seconds, every 120 seconds, they have chrono. They need to kind of land, and that's where AB1, unfortunately, he's kind of just walking to his death here. At least it feels like he is. He needs to swap down, though.
No, they're not that
No?
fast. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, Kara doesn't have the cast range. He might get dewarded, which is mildly unfortunate, but Kara actually can't do it because the ward's placed on the right side, the slight right side. The Venge has just got two little hands, and okay, AB1 is still messing around with these D-wards, though. This is something else.
Okay, this time he has to die for this. There's just no way they can let him go, as I believe he is going to get taken down. Benjes comes in with the soul assumption, and yeah, if you let him get away with that and get away free twice, ooh, you're just going to get clowned
This is pretty
on.
sad.
Can they?
You do not want to let this Roche go. That's BKB just delivered on the Magnus as well. It's coming on his courier, so they aren't doing this the fastest, but they honestly want the fight instead if they can get it. And look at the fight. Engage.
Trying to take him down quickly. Not quickly, not taking him down at all, in fact, is Merlin. Okay, he keeps a regen rune out of their pockets, I guess, but it's a 1-for-1 trade on the supports. Is that enough, though, to stop the Roche attempt? Or do Ravens go back in? Because this is starting to get a little risky. If you're 5RAT, they're here for a reason. They're hanging out in that area because they're trying to do something, and if they're not pushing your high ground, yeah, they're looking for Roche. Buy back in from Merlin. They don't want to let this go without a fight. How long till chrono? No, right now. It's up, and this is where things get so incredibly dangerous, and part of the reason why, I was kind of wondering if they were serious about that Roche attempt, because they did not take it all that quickly, and well, now I'm not sure they can take it at all, considering both sides are just kind of hanging out.
Yeah, it's where once the Magnus has his crit stick, then that Roche goes a lot faster, but that was a huge forcing play. Benjos even had to resummon his familiars just because he was using them mainly to tank the Roche, just because you don't want your Magnus's blink to be disabled, because he can't really tank. He can tank for the Roche, but he can't tank while also looking for the initiation. And that's where the smoke from 5RAT. There's BKB on speed as well. He can actually just jump in, get them all the vision they want. That's why he's got the wards. And he will break on the Kara.
Interesting. No swap, though. Just trying to keep him at arm's length. But does he make the move? The Ice Path actually hits first, so he doesn't have to blink it. Unstable Concoction from range gets the job done. Quick and easy pick-off, and well, we saw one buyback from a support already, right? Merlin used his to get back onto the front line. Do we see the same from Kara? Honestly, he might just be able to... Uh-oh, can't wait it out anymore. There's going to be the Chronosphere down onto Benjaz. Where's the follow-up damage? They need teammates in here. Niango Flow, though, is going to throw out a defensive boat, keeping Benjaz alive for just a few extra seconds. Not enough, though. He will still fall. Doom, meanwhile, thrown down into the middle lane. They get the RP onto 2 as well. Where's the damage to follow it up? They get enough onto speed. They want kits as well, though, but he swashbuckles himself out. Well, he swashbuckled out initially, then ends up getting pulled right back in, so he will still die. And look at Dot go. He doesn't give a damn. He wants another kill. He's going to get it. And 5RAT... Oh, once the chrono ends, what's left to fight with? The answer apparently, ET, is nothing, because his Faceless Void's in trouble. The Axe into the Torrent, into the Magic Missile. They'll clean him up. Double kill for the Kunkka. They take the full 5-man wipe.
Yeah, and I think just the fantastic RP, but also just utilizing that BKB in the perfect way. Just being way too tanky, and they ran out of damage, plain and simple. They used everything. The Macro Pyre, the Rolling Thunder, the Chronosphere, and only getting the Visage for your Chrono. I understand that it isn't important here to take down early, and you can't get initiated on in your own Chrono. It's where the Magnus was kind of in an awkward spot for a little bit there, but you run out of gas, and even though Speed got his BKB off, he's still doomed. You're not getting any more stuns out of your Alchemist. He's the one that got cleaned up right next to the Pango, and then, well, now it's Roche. Now you have to play versus an Aegis, and again, not the Ultra Carry. You aren't going to see the game just kind of flip on its head. Dad still has to work pretty hard to find his successful team fights, and just straight up hitting people is still very difficult for the Magnus, but that's where I almost wish that 5RAT turn around and just become tankier. They need a lot of these BKBs, they need halberds, they need some more armor. Otherwise, they die so quickly. Dismar, though, a little far forward.
Well, they did spot the Kunkka, though. That's a much more valuable target. They are going to go after him instead. BKB comes out, though, Niango Flow. Trying to run away. Can Speed time this up perfectly? Not quite. Oh, hold on. Yeah. He still gets it. Okay. Thought he was going to be a little bit too far away, but he has the vision. He throws out the stun. They find the kill, and it's not a bad play at all for 5RAT, but yeah, don't get too greedy here, boys. Marching up onto that high ground into 2 or 3 heroes would still be kind of risky. Don't have Chrono up for another 20, and DNM's not even there, so they play it safe. They find the big kill that they wanted. That's going to sort of reset a little, maybe buy them some time, ET, and okay. TP spot. Ooh, timing's a little bit off.
Yeah. He is going to gun for those kills pretty much every time he sees it. He almost has his Daedalus as well. He just needs one more component, and then your Mag is going to be very scary. That's where you pretty much can kill anybody in the Chrono. And actually, looking over, I feel like they kind of want to smoke here. Of course, during daytime, you need to smoke to make a play happen. But they've got Doom. They don't have BKB on Dismar yet. They could decide to just sit around and farm, wait for that, alongside the AC to be done on the Kunkka. But when you are in this kind of 50-50 status, 5RAT are kind of holding hands right now. They kind of have to be connected, otherwise their damage is going to fall very short. But the Faceless Void and the Alchemist are still farming pretty nicely. Again, the one that does kind of get sacked in this Tricore is the Pango, but gets just finished his Blink Dagger. He's pretty alright not farming for a bit here.
And we saw in the last fight, as long as he's got the angle, the Rolling Thunder still does a hell of a lot of work, so you just need him to stay in the middle of those fights, and he is going to be able to contribute somehow. As how much time left on that Aegis? About 2.5 minutes here, so well, AT, if you're Ravens, it's only the first Aegis. I mean, do you really feel like taking any risks right now? As of right now, it seems like no, because they're just pushing down one of those tier 2 towers, but do you try to pull the trigger on something big with the Aegis in hand and your ult's coming back up?
Well, they can definitely do this. Just force their opponents back into the base. This isn't even them committing, but you see already if they get 2 TPs out of 5RAT, this makes it a lot safer for them to take over the top area of the map now. And if they want to... Oh, they got the Doom! Okay. Oh, no. Oh, it's just the slight defensive vision that they placed before. That was even just a ward placed for that previous Roche fight. And it ends up killing DNM and the Ancients. Well, that's a stroke of luck.
Yeah, I said, you know, do they pull the trigger on something big? Something big kind of just falls into their lap. Didn't really have to do a crazy amount to set that up. And now, well, we might be seeing a bit of a return fire play here as Benjaz, he's getting hit, but not very hard. They just don't have the damage. They get through, I think, some of those Gravekeeper Cloak stacks, but it doesn't really help them actually find the kill. Merlin gets punished, and Ravens are in onto another tier 2 tower. This is where 5RAT have to be so careful. You can't afford to get sort of trapped in your base right now.
No, it's where as soon as they are stuck into that high ground mode, and of course, you do see the 5 rat cores, they're not getting scared, they're in the side lanes playing still, they know that they can't get cramped in their base, otherwise they pretty much lose any agency of this game, but at the same time, it's nighttime, this is where you would go for that smoke play, this is where you either smoke, or you decide to just sit on top of your ward sentry and decide to play albeit defensively, but I think they need to kind of find some farm, because with the way things are, with that last pick onto DNM, this BKB is just not coming out. This Faceless Void is just not finding his way onto the creep waves. And of course, you know, you say that you've got the Midas, you're going to be able to farm anyways, but it's where suddenly the Pango the Alk, they're going to take the farm because they have to push out these waves, which means that there's just a hero farming it from the Faceless Void pretty much at all times, because you're not growing right now. There's some pretty nice creep cutting action going on top. Speed's doing a pretty fine job. He has his AC as well once he gets to the secret shop, but the objectives are still rolling here for Ravens.
And here's the downside, right, of that sort of macro build with the Midas and the Maelstrom, outside of the fact that it's boring as hell to watch somebody just try and farm with it, but it's a farming build, and it relies on you having some sort of guaranteed space to actually make use of this, and DNM right now just does not have that. He is trying to push out this bottom wave, and I mean, it's not doing a bad job of it. The problem is his opponents are on the hunt, and Speed, for a moment there, looked like the target. Grave Chill Slow wasn't quite enough to keep him sort of locked down, but you're starting to see it a little bit more, right? 5RAT just getting pushed back bit by bit. Can they do? Yeah, what can they do to try and counter this out, ET? The answer is, let's go for a 5-man smoke. See if we can catch anyone outside of our base.
And you got to look at the Jakiro here. He's the man with the wards. They love to break, but Dismar's got a BKB. Benjas isn't bad, but he can also just go stone for him.
Oh, they're going to try and target Benjas. He's got a defensive boat sort of flying overhead, so he's not taken down immediately. And with that stone form, as you said, he's not really dying at all. Does DNM want to commit for the chrono? No, he doesn't. Speed, meanwhile, did get off the chemical rage before the doom, so he is running his way out of the fight, and it looks like just about everyone makes it out for 5RAT. EB1 has to be sacrificed, but you know, all things considered, that doesn't go too poorly. That's Doom down, that's Ghost Ship used, right? The failures aren't available for 60 on the resummon, and you only lost your Jakiro, I suppose? You're holding on to Chrono, so you still have some resources. The problem is, if he does Chrono, he doesn't have the damage to find kills himself, so who's going to be the one to actually do the damage?
Yeah, that's where you do have a little bit of a problem here, and oh, just do a little X mark play with the Magnus. The Mag is still primed. He has everything. All he has to do is look for it. And actually, with the AC on the Kunkka alongside the birds, they're just getting this Rax anyway. It's a little bit obnoxious here, and got to be a little bit careful on Nengo Flow. Oh, pumping it.
Oh, man. Get the heart rate going. There's DNM just trying to fake him out. This is holding the Rax, though. They get the Ice Path onto the Familiars. Speed is going to throw an Unstable Concoction out, so I mean, ET, they're throwing everything that they've really got into this, but it's buying time, and okay, Benjas is getting hit up a bit. Kits is doing some nice work, but the Stone Form does come through. Macropyre thrown down. Meanwhile, that's an interesting swap attempt. I don't think it's going to help as DNM now throws out the Chrono. They're going to be able to catch two. Benjas and Kara both taken down, but Yengo Flow still pretty damn tanky. BKB popped. There's the RP, and Da, just look at the damage with the Daedalus. Just slams the door in 5RAT's face and ends that fight immediately.
Yeah, and, well, I'll be honest, even though they get those 2 kills, they're going to be able to farm pretty convincingly on the Raven side as well. 5RAT still get to hold, and with the BKBs committed to hit during that RP, means they can't use them to push or poke the high ground anymore, so we're going to get another little reset here. And of course, this does mean that the game is going to refocus back onto that Roche pit, and we'll see in a few seconds here. A long cooldown would pretty heavily favor 5RAT. Actually, they just got BKB on DNM.
Seconds.
28. Oh no, that's before Chrono's gonna come back by quite the margin as well. I think that might just mean that 5RAT have to concede it. And then the past few days, Roche has just been awake so quickly. It's just been a fast Roche into the team that has the lead, just never losing it. And all you have to do now, if you're Ravens, to reap the rewards here from that early Roche timer is just scout it out. Something they've been so good at. Let's see if Carr just throws a scream in.
Okay, ward first. Can't blame him for that, but now the check. Roche is up.
And
Magnus has
uncontestable.
stupidly high amounts of damage to just burn through this. Yeah, oh my god. That's... okay. Yeah, this is over. Roche is done in about 3 or 4 seconds. Who is going to take the shard there? Looks like Nyango Flow was the one to grab it. So, man, they've got so much movement right now, right? They've got the Shockwave, the Skewer, the Swap. They'll have Tidal Wave now as well. So, maintaining positioning on 5RATS is just not gonna happen as Kits. He's been doomed. Dismar doesn't have a crazy amount of damage, but he might just get this before Nyango Flow shows up. Yeah, he doesn't even need backup.
This is not a good situation to be in, and I think
Uh-oh.
for Nengo Flow... Oh!
God goes in. Okay, they catch Merlin out as well. They have vision on Albino Zebra, and yeah, highly doubt he's getting out of this one. Shockwave pulls him back. There's the blink. There's the right clicks. And 5RAT, well, we were praising them before, right? They made sacrifices, but they kept the racks safe. 3 heroes down. It's going to be a little bit more complicated, although the creep wave is in a position where Ravens don't have an immediate way in, and in fact, Dodd is actually just going to push mid instead, so that's going to kind of mitigate the damage a little bit. I think this tier 3 still goes down, ET, but not much more than that before the heroes respawn.
Unfortunately, you do have this bottom tier 3 already taken, so the creeps are going nowhere. The glyph is not going to defend all too much, and they're just doing 2 at the same time.
Oh my God.
There's a Hex on Kunkka as well, so you have to be so careful.
Oh, we got Hexed!
Oh, no!
They got the Hex off.
No
There's
way.
no chrono. He's dropping. Can they save him? No, they can't. DNM's gone, and that's just terrible. He'll have to buy back. He's going to use it here, and they're pushing their way forward. Benjaz is dropped low, and they will kill him, but they want more than that. They want the Aegis. Well, they want it. Can they get it? Looks like they're slowly but surely getting through Dodd's first life, but can they handle him a second time? Look at Speed trying to come around, but he's hexed up. He's going to self-stun. They did drop the chrono, though, so Dodd is still locked down. The Macro Pyre is there, but look at the Tidal Wave pushing them all back. They're not going to be able to take down Dodd immediately. They may not get him at all here. As look at Dismar try to run interference. There's going to be the RP out from Dodd, trying to dish out the damage, but he can't really find a target. Now he does. Skewers DNM back. There's the Abyssal Blade stun, locking him down. DNM can't die a second time. He is dancing his way around these heroes with that Time Walk. And he not only lives, but leads his team to a bit of a victory here, although ET, fantastic fight if you're 5RAT to just survive, but... oh, hold on. We'll see if Kara makes it out. I think he is going to get caught here, so that might be one last death, but... we look back in the base, bottom ranks taken in its entirety, and the tier 3 did fall, so their base is still getting whittled away at.
Yeah, but 16,000 gold chains, 6k gold, yeah, everything just kind of changes now, and... with that, you get to finish off your first big item on DNM, and yeah, that first initial Hex was kind of unfortunate, but what ends up happening is the Kunkka's BKB spent super early, Benjaz dies to pretty much solely Merlin's Mortimer Kisses, and then suddenly you have enough in the tank to actually kill the Magnus, and just sitting there in fighting him, both Speed and DNM, they're just sitting there bashing him. He just cannot right-click. He is just getting bashed over and over again. And they want to die for even something more here, but nobody's playing with buyback on the Raven side, and it's just an immediate trade. They've been racked mid.
All right, well, yeah, everything I was just saying about their own base, CT, we kind of throw that out the window. It's still a racks down, but I was operating under the assumption that they weren't going to be able to just make this play, but they marched their way down, and it's looking pretty damn good. I mean, this net worth lead is all but gone.
Yeah. We are back down to that even game, and that's where you look at the luxury items. You just finished the Abyssal Blade up on the Alchemist. It's where Lincoln Spheres gets queued up. It's where the Lotus Orbs get queued up, and then suddenly, Dismar can't find a Doom target. Spells are going to get off. You are still in that danger zone where if you do lose DNM in the immediate future, you can just straight up lose. The game will just end. You don't have Glyph. The game can end very quickly with Ravens coming out on top. But that's also where if you can wait out these next 4 or 5 minutes, they lost that Aegis so quickly, Ravens don't have another Aegis to play around with in the high ground until what feels like 40, 43 minutes into this game, which is exactly where 5RAT are going to want to take this if they have to. Their high ground defense is still so fearsome. You can't just AFK hit the building, and again, as we keep on mentioning it, you're not an Ultra Carry, you're a Magnus. You have to find the RP. You do not have the easiest time right-clicking heroes already. This game's only going to get more difficult.
ET, do you agree with this? Ults up, smoke out. Is this the right move?
I think so. They want to play around their vision, the vision they've
Oh,
maintained.
they got the Kunkka! One stun
Swap.
down, second stun. Big play from Kara. Will it be enough? Yango Flow still caught
Oh,
in the
no.
chrono. This time DNM does have some damage. It's still not enough to burn through Nyango Flow all that quickly, so they try to get onto Benjas instead, but they don't finish off either one. But look at how low Nyango Flow is. He is going down here. One more hit, maybe. Somebody hit him. There we go. They take him down finally. And now they can shift their focus elsewhere, but the RP from Dodd comes in. They forgot about the Magnus, but he's not finishing anyone off just yet. They did drop the Doom, though, on to the Alk, and now they'll be able to sort of clean this up, but the cost is just so damn high, ET, and they're not actually going to win this fight. Benjas is going to get taken down, and the two remaining heroes, they have to run, and depending on the angle, they may not make it out. Dodd, how's he looking? He's got that TP. He just needs to find a spot. I don't think DNM wants to chase any further.
No, and what a monster of a skewer. Without that, I don't think he gets the Alk or the Pango there. He just ends up clipping both and then killing through the Empower. But again, a fight taken outside of the base, and that's all that 5RAT were looking for with that smoke. They just wanted to take an engagement where their buildings were never going to be a follow-up objective, and in doing so, they get more time. You lose 2 cores, but you take 2 cores away from the Raven side of things, and you get to push out and farm all these waves yet again, and now those items are actually getting finished. You just got the Lincoln Sphere finished up on DNM, Lincoln Sphere queued up on that Pango, and then suddenly, Dismar just wasn't able to find anything. I think both the Mag and the Doom were struggling so hard in the nighttime. Of course, they're playing at a vision deficit just because AB1 gets that hill so quickly, but without that, they're just not finding those very confident jumps anymore.
And yeah, in that fight, Dismar did drop the Doom on to Speed's Alchemist in the end, so he's already having a little bit of trouble, right? Finding some of those more valuable targets. If those targets then have Lincolns to just completely cancel it out, then what the hell can you do then? Well, there's your answer, I suppose. He picks up an Aghanim Scepter, so all of a sudden, well, Lincolns are a little bit less important defensively, but that means Dismar has to get close, has to cast it on himself, and you know, has to live for more than a few seconds.
Yeah, and that's something that, unfortunately, with this item build, don't have the most armor, don't have the most kind of tankiness in this game. And we'll have to see, because it is one of those very difficult spells to execute. If you doom yourself, then you do have to actually stick on these targets, something that I think, honestly, 5RAT are really prepared for. But Ravens also just straight up need to get the jump. They keep on getting the reactive jump where the roll's already coming through, the Alk's already popped his ult and his BKB. They need to find these heroes at the beginning of the fight. They might even just need to start finding supports. I think the Jakiro and the Snapfire are just getting way too many spells off in all these engagements. Not to mention, we haven't seen really an aggressive swap yet this game. It just feels like, again, they're playing a little slow, and okay, Hex, speed.
Hex into X. He self-stuns. There's the Torrent. There's the boat. They are hitting him up. Dismar comes in. There's going to be the RP. They actually get the Faceless Void as well as he time walks into the self-cast Doom. Oh, 5RAT, they didn't know it, but they signed their own death warrant on that fight. 3 down. So unfortunate. And now DNM, his buyback's still on cooldown. He's dead for 90.
Well, and that's the danger zone. We were talking about an AB1. Oh, you can't afford to die here. You're not buyback. Oh no, their best base defense is now dead for 52 seconds. They have Glyph, but
Did they just go tier
Ravens
4s at this point?
Yeah, they're just going to knock on the Ancient, and they're going to say, well, if you don't buy back right now on your Faceless Void and your Jakiro, we don't care.
There isn't any, yeah. No buybacks available. Ravens, at this point, should be starting to figure that out once the Glyph wears off and there's still no one coming, but they're not going to get too, well, let's say greedy, right? They're going to go for the final lane of Rax. They'll play it safe. I'm not sure they need to, but they don't really have any way of knowing that just yet. At speed, okay, that's an interesting attempt. He does jump in, gets a nice stun. We've got the Mortimer Kisses coming in from the background, but the damage just isn't enough. No one's actually going down. And Dodd got the skewer off. They've caught Merlin. They'll pull him back into this. Kits, meanwhile, look at him go. He's just trying his best, rolling in onto everyone, but again, the damage just is not here, ET. This fight is over before it's even really begun. It's an attempt you have to make if you're Kits, right? You have to try and buy time, but he just doesn't have enough to really punch through.
When they're starting to walk away, it's so much damage on the Mag, but it's not going to be enough. They're looking for everything, anything on the exit here. They might be able to get Dismar if they can stick on it, but
he whipped himself. He's got the move speed. He's got the blink. He's going to get away.
They can't just afford to only get Kara, and they're not out of it yet. They do a pretty fine job at clearing these creeps, and again, their high ground defense is very strong, but I feel like right now, if we're 5-rat, we march in, we get the Aegis as fast as we possibly can, but then we're back on base defense duty forever,
Mm.
basically. But that's also where the Mag's got RP. He has everything. The Magnus is ready. They're buying back knowing that if they do get this Roche on Ravens, there is absolutely no hope for 5-rat. They still don't have Glyph. They just march it down with Megas. This is the worst timing for 5-rat.
Bad time for a bash as well. D&M gets locked down. There's the familiar in for the secondary
Ooh.
stun, but he's able to fall back. That's got to be the most important thing right now. If D&M dies, it's just done. So got to keep him alive, but got to try and contest Roche, but got to make sure that the creep waves aren't pushing onto your tier 4s. It's just a laundry list of things 5-rat need to be doing simultaneously.
Yeah, they've got no more buybacks to play around with. They still have the outpost. If they did have buybacks, that was something to look forward to, but couldn't ask for a worse time for these cards to start coming into the base either. And Kits, he's trying to stay confident here, but here we go.
Smart jumps in with the Doom. D&M did get off the Chrono, though. The Macro Pyre follows. The damage is not bad, but again, like the last fight, it's not enough to kill off any important heroes. RP down, Speed's been caught, dropping low, taken down, Tidal Wave, pushing D&M out of the fight. Here comes Dismar back in with that Doom. It does wear off, but not before they got the stuns. D&M, though, does have enough time. Time walks away, but he has to get back into the base. They have to save him, but Dismar blinks forward, gets off the stun. That is a Glimmer Cape even onto the Faceless Void to try and help him, but Dismar has the gem in hand. They do take him down. D&M, though, did get enough time for his buyback to come back off cooldown, but I just don't know if that matters anymore. The tier 4s are gone. The Megas are up onto the Ancient, and there's just not enough left to fight with.
Yeah, and there's the GGs. You kind of have to at this point. That was their big gamble play just on the high ground, but yeah, too many things not going right. At the end, hey, you got to see an Ags Macro Pyre doing damage in Chrono. That's kind of sick. That's kind of something to look forward to, but it's just the little picks before that. DNM blinking into that first Doom Ags reveal. Very, very unfortunate. And then as well, losing AB1. I don't think they get Megas if the Jakiro doesn't plainly get picked off there. He just didn't feel like he needed a TP. Maybe he didn't have TP. He just didn't find the correct path, and Ravens were way too quick at getting onto those middle racks. But yeah, just a series, I think, of unfortunate events because 5-rat, when they could execute in those team fights, it was working. They were getting what they wanted. They were finding the chain stuns. They were playing insanely well. And again, you kind of have to look at AB1 on this Jakiro, finding so many ice paths in this game, just doing so much for the rest of his team. But that's where very simply at the end there, if DNM doesn't find the Kunkka, the Magnus, and the Venge, something goes wrong. You get the swap out of the core, you don't get that damage, it doesn't stick through. And then Dismar as well, just causing chaos on your backline, making it so that it's impossible for Kits to play the game. I mean, it's just simply a little too much that they have to play around in. Again, Ravens have to drag out these victories till 41 minutes, but this is still exactly what Ravens have been doing the entire tournament. Nobody's figured them out yet, and Faceless Void just lost. So things are already starting to turn.
Yeah, you beat the Faceless Void, you continue this undefeated streak, now 7-0, still no answer for Benja's Visage, so well, if you're Ravens, just keep on moving forward, I guess, right? If nobody's going to stop you. No reason to change things up too significantly. We'll see if they don't come back in Game 2 with a similar draft. Whereas 5-rat, they made it interesting with this switch up, right? Putting speed on the Alchemist. I don't think they do anything even close to that kind of maneuver again. But I suppose we'll have to wait and see. Game 2 is coming your way really in only about 10 minutes here. So we'll see if 5-rat can regroup and bring Raven's win streak to an end, or if the SA squad can make it a perfect 8-0. Until then, though, we got some ads to play, so we'll be right back in just a little bit.